Hello, welcome back. Thank you for rejoining us. It is the big issue on OSRC TV, and our lead discussant, Most Reverend Jude Arogundade, has been speaking on the recent Owo attack. We can only hope and say that we wish we will never see a repeat of that event, that unfortunate event. On this session of the program, we're still looking at this particular issue, and we're going to be expanding some of the issues that have been raised by our lead discussant. My panelists for today, I have Babatokwe Okeowo. Thank you very much for being here once again.
Thank you for having me.
And as well as Daisy Adetarami. Incidentally, you're both journalists, so it's great to have you join me today.
I am glad to be here today. Thank you for having me here.
Great. It's so unfortunate. What was your first thought when the news broke about this attack on the Catholic Church?
It was on Sunday morning. I got to the press center, and one of my colleagues said, what is happening? I said, what? He said there was a bomb blast in Owo. I said, bomb blast? How? Where? He said it was in the church. I said, no, it wasn't possible. How? Disbelief to reality. By the time we woke up from our consciousness, it was a huge story on our hand. So it was not something good to write home about. We've been hearing stories of attack, bomb blasts, dynamite being used. It has never been so close like this. Not that it has not been so close. We've seen armed robbery attack on banks. We have reported this on many occasions. But that some set of people will enter church during service and open fire.
As sacred as it is.
And open fire on people. We've never reported such incidents in this state.
You mentioned that when you first said it was disbelief, total disbelief. That brings to bear this issue that we're still facing in Nigeria, the issue of fake news. You said you heard a bomb blast. There were different reports in both the conventional and the social media. Variant, versions here and there, all over the place. How do we begin to address this issue of fake news? Because even with the professional journalists, it seems no thorough work is ever done in terms of investigations to actually find out what occurred before reportage. It's more like it's about who breaks the news first.
You see, like we have said, it's a big problem on our hands. Because once you have an Android phone now, you see yourself as journalist. You see yourself as a journalist. Whereas it is not like that. To be a journalist, you need to be trained. There's a wild difference between being a blogger or being a journalist. Although journalists can be a blogger, you see the difference. But we have a situation where somebody will just break a story on his page on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, all these social media platforms. So it has made the job of conventional journalists very difficult. And unfortunately, they are not censored. I mean, these social media they are not censored. You can't punish them for spreading fake news. Unlike if somebody comes out with fake news on any conventional media, that person has lost his job or a job already.
No, but we also had cases where bomb blasts were,
no, we are not even talking of the question you raised is about fake news. And when this thing happened, nobody reported bomb blast because we weren't sure yet. I was just telling you.
Some actually reported that.
No, nobody reported it from all the national dailies but we had a blast. Nobody said it was a bomb blast. Okay. So it was a dynamite that they used on the... So what I'm saying in essence is that the relevant government agencies must do something about checking the incessant incidents of allowing fake news to thrive.
All right, let me come to you, Dyson.
This incident has brought to the fore again the dilemma that the conventional media is facing from the unconventional media, that is the new media, as it were. And I believe this is one of the problems and challenges that the conventional media has to face about the liberalization of the information superhighway, as I would want to see it. Just like he rightly mentioned, anybody with an Android phone now automatically sees himself as an information manager or a journalist, which ought not to be. But the reality on ground now is such that it will be extremely very difficult for any authority to come out with any measure to say that they want to regulate that. They cannot, because the world over, that is what obtains. It's only that in different other societies, there is this personal responsibility on the part of the citizenry about what to post and what not to post. So it has to do with your sense of responsibility, which we are not seeing in Nigeria here. We can only continue to appeal to our people that they do not post things that could be injurious or that could be very pernicious to people's perception or people's sensibilities, as the case may be. Because actually when this thing broke out on Sunday, what they initially said was that it was a bomb blast in Owo. And I want to commend journalists too that they did not take it from that angle and begin to write. And this is the reason why journalists must always get to the spot, get to where the action is happening before you begin to.
So it's not about breaking the story first.
Before you start breaking the stories.
Exactly.
So because your newspaper is at stake, your brand is at stake, if you go and break news that is fake or that is not true in its entirety. But let's go beyond and above that, and let us center our focus on this issue. Just like
before you move on, you said quite clearly that they cannot be controlled.
Yeah.
Because it's that way all over the world. But
Exactly.
Babatokwe was saying that there must be some level of censorship
Yes.
in order to control what gets out there.
The federal
in the public
government
space.
at a point proposed a bill to censor what you post on social media. But there was outcry that it was because the government didn't want to liberalize the media space. But to my mind, I believe that, yes, there should be a form of responsibility. Just like Dicey said, if you post something that is injurious to society, definitely you must pay for it. Yes, because let me tell you, there's no sensible media that will publish blood. You see corpses littering the floor, but you see this thing on the social media. It is wrong. It offends our sensibilities as humans. So it is high time that government did something about liberalizing. I'm not saying it should not be liberalized, but at least to make sure that whatever you do, whatever you post, whatever you share, you are answerable to those
I
things.
can see smiling too.
In as much as Tokwe wishes that this should be done and could be done, in all practical purposes, it can never be done. The reason why it can never be done is that you have millions of people that hold Android phone. If it were to be a situation whereby we have an organized platform from which people post, you can hold that platform responsible that why did you allow this person to post through your platform? But we have different channels through which you can post. You can use Twitter, you can use Facebook, you can use WhatsApp, use many. So
some people have gone to jail for posting libelous.
It's not as if
that's what I'm saying.
Once in a while,
you can be held responsible for what you post.
Except,
and let me tell you, even these handlers have been removing injurious posts from their sites.
What?
So it's part of.
So perhaps that could serve as if you, not necessarily clamping down on
them. No, I'm not clamping down. What I'm
Yes.
saying is making them responsible. If you post something injurious, Facebook will remove it. If I see something that is injurious, you post, I can report you to the Facebook, and they will yank you off. So I think it's part of being responsible. Are you getting it now? Because these things sometimes travel faster than before.
Not sometimes, they travel faster before.
Because before your newspaper comes out, the events of today will be reported tomorrow.
Yeah.
But social media, online media, bloggers will have, that's urgency, that's immediacy is there. So that is the point. So
I still hold on to the opinion that if you do something that is outrightly injuring a particular person, that person can take you to court.
Sure.
Okay.
They can easily pick you up and say, why did you post a libelous thing against this person?
Sure.
Okay.
But when you post a general thing, for instance, that is not affecting anybody directly at that point in time, there's no way you could be held responsible. It's just like you waking up now and say that, oh, the whole Ghanaian team that is coming to Nigeria, it seems as if they are not coming again. That is a lie. Who is coming to hold you responsible? Why did you say the Ghanaian team that is supposed to come into
that's why I said
they are not coming?
Nobody
will hold you
you
responsible
can
for
report that character.
You understand?
The
there are millions of characters that post such things on daily basis. How many do you want to report?
All right, let's move on. So you have your differences regarding that issue. All right, Most Reverend Arogundade also mentioned clearly that many Nigerians at this point, the issue of trust deficit between the governed and the government. Many Nigerians right now believe that one way or another, the federal government is complicit in this whole insecurity issue. Do you share that thought?
Yes, if you listen very attentively to the Lord Bishop and extrapolate from what he was talking about, even if you cannot directly pinpoint that the federal government has been very complicit. There's one thing we call in political science that inaction itself is an action. So when you expect government to live up to its responsibility of safeguarding the lives and property of the citizenry, and they are not doing that, indirectly, you can say the government is complicit. For your information, I think the second chapter of the Nigerian Constitution that has to do with directive principle of state policy and fundamental objectives, it does spell out a lot of rights that Nigerians could enjoy under a democratically elected government, under democracy in the country. But unfortunately, most of these rights are not justiciable. And when you look at some of these rights that are not justiciable, you can say government is complicit in making life not meaningful to Nigerians. For instance, now we all have right to life, right to move, freedom of movement, freedom of speech, and everything. How could somebody come and infringe on your right to life, and the government is seen not to be doing anything other than to come and say that they are on top of the situation, that the perpetrators will be apprehended,
and they
will be jailed, they will be condemned, and before you know it, that will end it. In another 1 week or 2 weeks, another thing will come up.
So like him, you do not believe that there's hope that these perpetrators will be brought to book?
Look at the history of many crimes that have been committed in Nigeria. How many of these perpetrators have been brought to book? Although I do not like profiling, but at the same time, people still say a lot of Fulani people are engaged in some of these things. And most of them that have been apprehended, how many of them have been brought before for justice to be served on them? So these are the things that will make a lot of citizens to be apprehensive of the federal government, that are they actually complicit or they are not directly. But as I said, your inaction itself is an action.
It speaks volume.
It speaks volume. So that is what I can say about that for now.
There's no doubt about it that there's a disconnect between the citizens and the federal government. Why? We have to look at it this way, just like Daisy said, that government inaction. Look at it. Governors had, because of these incessant attacks, decided to have regional security outfits. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice came up to say it is against the Constitution. What did the governors do? They now reverted to state outfits. So that means they cannot go beyond their states. And most of these criminals, once they commit this crime, they escape to other states, making it easier for them to escape justice. Now, today, how many days after the attack, we have not seen one single arrest. Who does the arrests? Of course, federal government agencies, security outfits. And nothing has been done. As we speak, that shows that people will lose confidence in the ability of the government to protect them. And this thing can lead to rebellion against the government.
It can lead. Let's hope we never get to that point. That also brings us to the issue of response rate when it comes to crime scenes as well as emergency cases in Nigeria. There were many reports that the police said that they did not have the logistics, operational vehicles to move to the scene of the crime. And there are also so many other reports that are out there. And then we keep saying that we will fight this cause and fight it to a standstill. Does that
this thing
make
makes
sense
me
to you?
to want to cry. I'm saying it. Let me tell you. Where this incident happened, there are more than one police stations. We have
divisional police
headquarters. We have area
command
headed by Assistant Commissioner of Police. But let me tell you, where are the men to man these stations? They are either guiding VIPs. Now, the vehicles that they're supposed to use to respond, where are they? They are on roadblocks, doing what we call checkpoints.
And sometimes they actually look very unhealthy.
The vehicles. And I have to also blame this police, for instance, in this instance. If you have your own car, and it's your own vehicle you are using, the way they use those vehicles is appalling. Let me tell you, some of these vehicles, you give them in 6 months, they become scrap. Why? Because they don't maintain them. Federal government should divest.
Maintenance, is that not also the responsibility of the government?
No, what I'm telling you, let me tell you, that's what I'm saying.
Or you're referring to the usage?
Let me tell you, one usage, then two, maintenance. We have problem in this country. And let me tell you, once something belongs to government, people don't care. It's our own. So if it gets spoiled, and that one will be supplied. You can, some of us, we have been using cars of more than 10 years, and they are still on the road. Ask how many vehicles given to police are still on the road, even 5 years.
All right.
I think this issue of security, architecture, and of course infrastructures too in Nigeria is a fundamental issue that needs to be looked into very critically and properly. The challenges are multi-layered and multifaceted, if I will use those terminologies. Number one, we have inadequate security personnel in Nigeria. It will interest you to know that the police, the army, the DSS, the NCDC or all
NSCDC.
of the NSCDC combined together, they are less than 500,000 men as we speak, in a population of over 200 million people. They are less than. So I want to believe that, number one, the federal government may find a way of recruiting more personnel, especially into the police. Then the operational materials that they are using, just like Tokwe rightly said now, you could see a helos given to a divisional police station that is covering about 15, 20 towns and villages under that division, although we have some other police posts too, but it will be that operational vehicle alone that is available. They will use these vehicles to patrol all these places under their division, one, at the appropriate time that this vehicle should be maintained, to carry out regular checks, to do what we normally do every month by servicing vehicles. They will not be provided money to do such. They could use engine oil that's supposed to be used for a month. They could use it for 6 months inside that vehicle because of the fact that there is no money to change it. And there's nobody that wants to use his own personal money to do it.
Even if there is money, you have to look at that. Again,
I want to believe.
The corruption,
even if there is money, the tendencies for these people to put this money into their private pocket is very rife at the same time. So these are many factors that have made our police not to be able to perform up to expectation. And again, we need to look at their remuneration. I still want to believe that the Nigerian police is underpaid, given the enormity of task
they are doing,
given to them by government. Then we need to look at life insurance for them. Do they actually have this in line of duty? If they are felled by armed robbers' bullets, God forbid, I mean, what happens to their immediate family? So you see a lot of policemen, even if they hear that there are daredevil armed robbers operating in a particular place, they will stylishly delay so that those people
even if the operational
vehicles are there, because they will want, even if from where they are, they could be hearing the gunshots as they are boomeranging, and they may just say their own firepower may not be able to match up with those ones. They will stylishly delay and let those people go before they show up. That has always been the case. But above and beyond, I believe government has the utmost responsibility to make sure that the police are well kitted, that they are well motivated, operational vehicles, given to them, and a lot of personnel recruited into the force. As Tokwe said, you see many police officers, close to 20% of them are attached to VIPs. Local government chairmen, some councillors even have police. A lot of people have taken this police from the pool where they are, where they could be used to fight crime, into their own personal domain to be guiding them, their children and their wives at home. You will see a VIP traveling to Lagos from Akure, from Benin, from anywhere. You will see 5 policemen attached to one VIP and escorting that VIP to Lagos. For what? So these are the challenges that we have about managing the security architecture and the infrastructure, especially the infrastructure. Because if we do not find a way of making sure that all these things work, we will continue to face all the challenges we are facing security-wise in Nigeria. So that is what I can say
I need some adjustment to what you said. We have more than 500 security agencies. When we are talking of security agencies, we are talking of the army, we are talking of the police, we are talking of the civil defense, we are talking of other. So when you add all this, we have over 1 million. But even at that, they are still inadequate. That is one. Then another one is that the federal government needs to make sure that the issue of security is not on the exclusive list of the federal government. If I can assure you that, assuming that Amatekun of Ondo State has such weapons, they will go after these criminals, these terrorists, because they are well motivated. They are doing more than some of the security agencies. That is another thing. Then another one is that we have many security agencies having the same duplicating responsibilities. Now we have soldiers on the roadblock. We have police also on the roadblock. We have civil defense on the roadblock. So when you look at this, why can't we just have one security agency on the road and allow other people to do other things? Are you getting my point? So if we don't have duplicates, if we are not duplicating duties, then there will be more men to tackle insecurity. If we want to have VIP guard, let us leave it for NCDC. Let them do that. Let policemen do other things. If it's to guide critical government infrastructures, let us know that only one set of security does that. So instead of just having in a place you have soldiers, police, security, army, everybody will be in that place instead of just allowing one security outfit to be there. So if we do that, definitely we have more men. That's not to rule out the fact that we need more security personnel in all these outfits.
And some will even say to you that those who are on the roadblocks, what exactly are they doing on those roadblocks? You can say something.
Yes, the 1 million, over 1 million that Tokwe mentioned, I think you have to go and look at the statistics again.
We do not have the exact statistics right now.
Because they too, they are saying that they are not up to that.
I'm not saying just police, so I said all
of them are not up to 1 million.
They are up to.
They are not up to.
Well, that's
not the bone of contention. Talking about the issue,
we've talked about infrastructure deficits. We've talked about the handling in terms of maintenance, of this personnel and all that. Now let's talk about the place of intelligence gathering.
Yes.
We know that before the Kaduna train attack happened, the Kaduna state governor said he got intel and he made it available to the security agencies, and yet nothing was done about it until it happened eventually. And up until now, sadly, we still have some people who were abducted and they're still in captivity, while all of the election frenzy is going on at the moment. Now, for this one that happened here, we're not even sure if there was any form of intel. We've not heard any report from the police or security agencies to say whether or not they got intel. But what is the place of intelligence gathering? And then what's the relationship? Because the police, the security agencies cannot work on their own. That's the sincere truth.
Thank you so much, Obi, for this very critical question. The way we have been managing our security in Nigeria is reactionary. We have never been proactive in managing security. That is just the plain truth. And if you want to be proactive in managing your security very well, the place of intelligence gathering can never be overemphasized and can never be pushed to the back door. I believe we have the Department of State Security, DSS. But where do you see the DSS today? You see them in different governors' offices and places where they are VIPs, even looking after VIPs. The main job of DSS is purely intelligence gathering. It's purely intelligence gathering. And there must be complementary effort between the police, the DSS, the civil defense, and what have you. But today, as we speak, military intelligence, as we are speaking now, because of interprofessional rivalry between them, they hardly share intelligence information amongst themselves. Only God knows why this is like that. Maybe because some forces are seen as superior to others and all whatnot. If there had been intelligence gathering, most of the crimes that we see in Nigeria that occur wouldn't have occurred in the first instance. Because people that are going to perpetrate one crime or the other, they will discuss before they do that. And it will interest you to know that these people are not so very intelligent. I mean, the perpetrators too. Some of them are ragtag guys. They will have discussed it in beer parlor such that one could have picked up information. But if you go and report in any police station or in any security outfit, they will not know that they have to circumvent that by moving ahead to go and block what those people want to do, or to bust the crime right there when it has never even been carried out. So evil perpetrators, by the time they see that whenever they are planning to unleash a kind of mayhem or any evil against people, they are busted, they will not want to do that again, because the fear, the perpetual fear will be there that they could be apprehended. So intelligence gathering is very vital. When you look at the US, you have different agencies, apart from a central intelligence agency, you know, that are scooping information everywhere ahead. This is what we call surveillance. Journalists too do it if they are well remunerated. These are surveillance functions that different agencies, different functions, different organs of government play to nip criminal activities of the men of the underworld in the bud before they are even carried out. But we are not seeing such. And again, if you are not seeing such, we need to be asking questions. Why are we not seeing such? Number one, resources are not made available to do that. If I'm a policeman, for instance, and somebody comes to report that something is likely to happen in Ilaje or in Akoko area, and my own division is here, if I want to be patriotic and be professional in my job, the next thing I will do is to call a colleague in Akoko that somebody alerted us about this. That discussion alone could waste 1,000 naira credit card, call card. But for the fact that you don't have the resources to do that, even if you hear that they are going to attack a particular place in a place that is far from your own area, you will just pray for them that may God help them wherever they are. It's not as if some of these security outfits too are not hearing information. They do. People still supply information to them. But for them to be able to process this information, to be able to carry a kind of move to circumvent that, the resources are not there. So these are the challenges that we face. And we believe that all stakeholders, government, must come to the rescue of security agents and agencies for us to nip all this on in the bud.
Still talking about this Owa attack, there are so many conspiracy theories, you know, flying around at the moment, doing the rounds everywhere. Some are saying that there's a link, you know, between that attack and the governor of Ondo State, Arogundade. Like you heard Most Reverend Arogundade compliment and commend him that he's been doing quite a lot regarding the security of lives and property, not just in Ondo State, but beyond the shores of Ondo State, talking about the Southwest and beyond. And, you know, it's as if this was a kind of confrontational, you know, trying to send a message one way or another to him, because, especially because he's also been, you know, clamoring for power shift to the South. Jude.
Yoruba people say, Ajekelano, Omokuleni. That is, which cried yesterday,
and the
child dies today. So who does not know that the child, the witch that cried yesterday, is responsible for the death of that child? Yes, to a large extent, I will agree with it. And I will now look at what happened in Kaduna State. We look at the two governors, their disposition to security issues. El-Rufai said that there was no need to negotiate with these bandits, with these criminals. And what happened? They turned that state to theater of war, and a real war zone that nearly every week you hear one attack or the other. It peaked when they attacked the train, and after that other pockets of attack. Now, coming back to our state, the governor had been vociferous about devolution of power. power shifts. That power shift, yes, is to political advantage. But this devolution of power is to everybody. And look at it. It happened on the eve of APC's primary. And shortly after that, the national chairman announced a consensus candidate. When that incident happened, so you can, I think I want to subscribe to what Revd Jude Arogundade said, that there are conspiracy theories around this thing. And when you look at it, I'm not saying other Amotekun calls are not working in
as much of
other states. So, but I know that of Ondo State, that you see them arresting bandits, are going around. Presently, they are even recruiting. That means they want to reinforce their activities. So maybe it is like that. I'm not a security expert, so I can't say. But the truth, I can't be emphatic. But the truth of the matter is that it's just to say it will be so difficult for you to say it is not like that, because it's too coincident. Too coincident.
So it's not coincidental. Okay.
I think that issue is a very sensitive issue. To link it directly to the federal government or to the authorities. No, don't discuss. I didn't link it to the federal government. Okay. I said the coincidence are just too striking. Yes,
are you getting it now? So let us say what I just say. Let us not directly linking the authorities to it. I said, because I know that
the eve of the primary, and it
came on the eve of the primaries. The governor was in Abuja. He had to run back, distracting him from what's supposed to happen. I said there are incidences that showed that, well, it could be. I didn't say
okay.
Directly linking.
So please, mind what I said.
Okay. There are many conspiracy theories to a crime like this. And as a matter of fact, my first reaction when I had this incident on Sunday was that, oh, the vampires are here again. The vampires sucking blood are finally everywhere in Nigeria. And that we are finally at that point where Thomas Hobbes, described the Hobbesian state of nature, where life is nasty, brutish, and short, that we are finally here. We talked about the inaction of government over the years in Nigeria and over very many previous attacks that have been carried out, and government is not doing anything. But you look at the statement of Reverend Jude Arogundade, it's not far from making the government not to be able to exonerate itself, even from what happened. We are not running away from that fact. But what I want to say now is there are 1,001 possibilities that could have led to that attack. But the onus is on the federal government to have been seen to be taking proactive measures to make sure that incidents like that don't happen in any part of Nigeria. Look at what is happening in the southeast, almost on a daily basis. Who do you hold responsible? This is where intelligence gathering come into place. This is where actions from the federal government to nip all these things in the bud come into place. And if we want to expand the scope of this conversation, we will now begin to look at the issue of constitutional provision as far as security is concerned. This thing could not be vested in the federal government alone. A situation whereby you have 68 items on the exclusive list is barbaric.
Including security.
Including security in any federation. So there must be devolution of power, which Governor Akeredolu had been fighting for, even before he became governor of this state. He has been a champion, an advocate of devolution of power so that we run a proper federalism in Nigeria, whereby both the state and the federal government could legislate on matter of security, for instance. Now, when Amotekun was about to be floated, we know the role that the Attorney General of this country played in wanting to make sure that that outfit never saw the light of the day. But eventually, with the vociferousness of the governor, the governor of this state and his brothers, they were able to float that outfit. But it is not floating that outfit alone that people of this state and people of many states in the southwest and of course in different parts of Nigeria are expecting. We are expecting a security outfit that will be able to carry very sophisticated weapons that could counter whatever move that the insurgents or criminal elements in the society are making. We are not seeing that. If from many quarters they wanted to embarrass the governor of the state by coming to come and carry out that dastardly act, they should know that with time, it is not only the governor that will be mounting this. And it is a challenge to all the governors in Nigeria to begin to call for devolution of power so that they can manage their own security. So if all the governors are doing it, who would they want to say they want to go and embarrass by attacking his citizens? It's only God that knows where this thing came from. But the pattern that I saw on Sunday is different from a pattern of people coming to abduct people for ransom. It's a different pattern entirely that does not look like any of the patterns we're used to. What was their motive? What was their intention? What message were they trying to pass across? They didn't adopt anybody.
Yes.
So, and they just came and killed and went away.
So these are the things that we will see and begin to see that it may be difficult to actually ascertain who sent them. We have the Boko Haram, we have ISIS, we have Al-Shabaab, we have many different cells of people that are doing nefarious activities all around the world. So it is intelligence gathering that will make us to be able to know who were responsible for what happened, and in order to nip them in the bud, such that such can never happen in the country again. And this is where federal government must come in and show the rest of the world that they are equal to the task and they are on top of the game and they are sincere about making life and property of Nigerians secured.
In addendum to that, Reverend Arogundade said something that Nigerians, our forces have gone to other countries.
And they've done well.
We went to Liberia, we went to Sudan, we went to Afghanistan, we went to other countries to maintain peace. And we did well. Why is it difficult to maintain peace in our land? It's a $1 billion question.
A $1 billion question. Finally, before I let you go, he said also that they have written many letters to the international community. Many other groups as well in the country have cried out for help. How does this, present us in the light, of our communications and relations with the international community, and of course, the fact that we are supposedly a sovereign nation?
Let me tell you, every nation seek help. Ukraine, when it wanted to fight Russia, sought NATO's assistance, and they offered it. It is not a shame to say, please come to my aid. After all, other countries sought our assistance when they needed us. So it's not a shame to say we are requesting for help. Let me tell you, our weapons that we use, which one do we produce in Nigeria? All are imported, including the bullets are imported. So if we now go to them to say, please assist us, there's no crime. It does not impede our sovereignty as a nation.
Yes, Reverend Jude Arogundade did say that Nigeria is a regional power, in its potency, I want to believe that that should be in the past.
Maybe in the paper, on paper.
Maybe on paper. Nigeria has ceased to be a regional power, perhaps since the military era, when the military was still in government. The truth of the matter now is that there is no nation that can live in isolation. There is no nation that is an island unto itself. Everybody depends on another person. Even the mighty American military industrial complex depends on NATO and many other allies all around the world. I've always maintained this position that if we cannot fight this battle, let us beckon on international community. Beckoning on international community is not a shame.
It is not a shame.
It is to get what we want from them. And again, we must do a convocation of national emergency on insecurity in this country. Until we do that,
many thanks.
We are not going
Thank you
anywhere.
so much, gentlemen, Babatope Okeowo and Daisy Adeteremi, for coming on the program again and doing justice to our focus for today.
Thank you for having me.
We can only hope that we will never see a repeat of this incident. Not in Ondo State, not in any part of the entire country. And we say, may the souls of the departed rest in peace. Till I come your way same time next week, I'm Obi Chukwemeka Oti. Bye for now.